Welcome to the explainer. Okay, let's talk Motorola. You see one, it looks incredible. The price is just wow. But there's always that little voice in the back of your head, right? Is it actually any good? Is there some hidden catch? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down today. So, here's how we're going to tackle this. We'll start with the stuff that grabs you right away. Then we'll dive into performance and gaming. After that, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of daily life with a Moto. And finally, we'll lay out the verdict to help you decide if it's the one for you.
Yeah, so Motorola, they're in this really interesting spot, aren't they? They keep dropping these phones that look amazing and have a price tag that feels almost too good to be true. And that's the thing. Is it? The big question that's hung around for years is, what are you giving up for that price? Is it long-term quality?
And that really is the core of it, right? Trust. It's not just about what's on a spec sheet. Can you trust this thing to capture your memories, to not lag out in the middle of a game, to just work a year from now? Let's dig in and see what the evidence says. Okay, let's talk about that first impression. Because honestly, when you first get your hands on a newer Moto, especially one from the G series, there are a few things that just jump out at you. Things that make you go, wow, this is a great deal.
And PC Mag really nailed it with this quote. You know, Motorola has totally changed the game for what a budget phone can look and feel like. We're talking vegan leather, solid frames, stuff that feels way more expensive than it actually is. It's not some cheap plasticky thing anymore. They have seriously stepped up their design.
And then there's the software, which is a huge plus. Moto gives you pretty much pure stock Android. So what does that mean for you? No bloatware. You're not getting a phone stuffed with a bunch of useless apps you'll never touch. And that's not just cleaner to look at. It means the phone's resources, its memory, its storage, are free for your stuff. Okay, so it looks good, it feels good. But what about the power? What happens when you actually try to push this thing? Let's pop the hood, because this is where we start to see where some of those compromises are being made. This table pretty much shows you Motorola's whole strategy. See, even for their top-of-the-line phones like the Edge or the Razr, they use a chip like the Snapdragon 8S Gen 3. Now, don't get me wrong, that's a fast chip for most things. But it's not the absolute fastest. The true flagship phones from competitors, they have that slightly better top-tier processor. It's a subtle difference, but for power users, it's a difference that matters. And here's the other piece of that puzzle, cooling. All that power generates heat, right? The best gaming phones have these fancy vapor chambers to get rid of it. Most Motos, well, they just don't have that. So what happens? You fire up a really demanding game, and after a while, the phone gets hot, and it has to slow itself down to cope. Not ideal for a long gaming session.
All right, we've talked looks, we've talked power, but what about just living with one? The day-to-day stuff. This is where the rubber really meets the road.
Okay, first up, the battery. And wow, the battery life on these things it's legendary. Seriously. Some models, like the Moto G Power, clocked in at over 17 hours of continuous use in tests. That's just insane. For a lot of people, that's the killer feature right there. You're talking about going 2 days, maybe more, without even thinking about a charger. But then we get to the cameras. And this quote from a tech reviewer pretty much sums it up perfectly. Across the board, the consensus is that they're okay. They're fine. In good light, you'll get a decent shot. But they just aren't great at capturing sharp details. And when it gets dark, yeah, they really tend to struggle. And this is a big one. This gets right back to that whole trust thing. If you spend some time on user forums, you start to see a pattern. After about a year of use, some people report some really frustrating problems. And I'm not talking small bugs. I mean things like your video's just not saving, or the audio cutting out all the time. Some have even reported the whole phone just suddenly dying. That's a huge concern. Now, to their credit, Motorola seems to know this is a weak spot. And they are clearly trying to build back some of that trust by beefing up their security and privacy software. Take their Moto Secure app, for instance. It's this whole package of tools designed to make you feel safer. You can hide sensitive apps in a secure folder, it can automatically lock itself if it gets stolen, and it's even got AI to warn you about sketchy links. It's a good step, showing they're trying to build a more trustworthy experience from the software side. Okay, So we've seen the good, the bad, and the kind of complicated. Let's pull it all together and figure this out. Who is a Motorola phone actually for? All right, let's just lay it all out. If you're a casual user, browsing, texting, watching videos, and you just want amazing battery life and clean software, a Moto is a fantastic fit, a no-brainer. But if you're a serious gamer, nah, it just doesn't have the raw power or the cooling. If you're all about photography, it's a compromise. The camera is okay, but it's not going to wow you. And if you're just trying to get the most phone for your dollar, it's a really strong contender. You just have to go in knowing what you're trading off. So look, here's the bottom line. Motorola isn't trying to make the absolute best phone on the planet. They're trying to make the best phone for a certain price. And you know what? They're pretty darn good at it. So the question isn't really, is a Moto phone good? The real question is for you. What are you willing to compromise on? If you can answer that, you'll know if a Motorola phone is the right choice.